Peace and welcome to the Jewel Exchange with Spit Gems. Today's episode is a glorious one, man. Today, we talking about a new project I got coming out, but also want to give a big rest in peace and happy birthday to the late, great Big Pun, Christopher Big Pun Rios, man. One of the absolute illest, most profound and influential artists of all time, and certainly within my lifetime. In honor of Pun's birthday, and of course in honor of my own birthday, I decided to drop an album on this day. Now, this isn't something I've never done before. I've done this before a few times. I like to take, like many artists and many MCs, I like to make my release dates special and drop them on days that have value and significance. And 11/10 is undoubtedly one of those days. For those who familiar with my work, 11/10/81, that's my day. That's Pun Day. Lord forbid it's Friday. I really meant that when I said it, man. This day is really special to me, man. Not just because I'm celebrating my own birth, but because, finding out that I was born on the same day as somebody who was so influential in my life, did so much to make me not only feel strong, but, to ultimately believe in myself in a field where it was daunting, where it could be quite discouraging or disparaging, right? And Pun is undoubtedly that dude, man. So big up to Pun, rest in peace, rhyme in paradise. Thank you for everything. Word up. The new album is an EP. So we're dealing with 6 tracks. Now, some may say, that's a short list. You know what I mean? We just came off of Knife Work, my previous project that I just dropped, and we'll talk about that a little bit too. And you're right, 6 songs is a short project, but understand this. These songs are so nutrient dense. I mean, there's so much in this short 6 tracks that you're going to be able to play this over and over and find new things. You're going to see new outlooks. You're going to hear a new version of Spit Gems. Not that I'm reinventing myself, because like I said before, that's not something that I ever plan on doing. I don't plan on reinventing myself. I plan on sharpening the blade until it can cut air. What I did on this album, when I say a new Spit Gems in a sense, is I've completely abandoned the approach that you heard on Knife Work, that you heard on a lot of my previous works. And if you go back and peep the solo edition of Jewel Exchange, the previous solo edition, I spoke on that quite a bit. So if you are unfamiliar with that, please go check that, because that episode right there, I really got a lot off my chest and I really got a lot out of my heart. You know what I'm saying? And that one's important, man, because it really illustrates my mind state and my state of being in total. You know what I mean? So do yourself a favor, do me the favor, check that out and get a little deeper on why I've taken this new approach towards making sure that my music is completely leaning in the direction of positivity and structured message. You know what I mean? But one thing that will never disappear, rest assured, is the grit. I don't even know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? That would be a dishonest project if it didn't sound extremely raw and sharp. You know what I mean? So have no fear in that department. All pistons are firing. What I did is just make sure that I put my target on the dartboard. You know what I'm saying? And I threw my sharpest knives at this target right here, because I truly believe in the message, and I believe that it's a beneficial message to anybody who comes across it, especially if you're an artist, if you're somebody who creates art, especially if you're in this music industry. You know what I mean? This is gonna be straight up food for you. So this is gonna be a straight up 6-course meal. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be a straight up banquet, a feast. You know what I mean? Like I said, nutrient dense. This is by far, I think, in my own personal opinion, I could hold, Dove in the Snake Pit And Homeschool is another album that I think I would hold in comparisons. If I was going to make comparisons, I would say those two albums are closest to what this album is like. But this one is better, no doubt, because like I said, this is laser beam focus on here. And the name of the album, I went back and forth with titles for a while. And I had some titles that I really liked. And I was close to being married to. I won't give none of those alternative titles, the ones I didn't use. I won't really put them out there too much because truth of the matter is that a lot of those titles are going to wind up being used for song titles in the near future because they're so relevant to the material. And, you know, all of them, I had about 5 or 6 and I'm like, damn, it could be any one of these. All of these seem perfect for this material. But I decided to go with something extremely simple, to the point, and just right in your face, completely obvious as far as representing what the album was about. And that was a word. That word is integrity. Integrity is the quality of being honest and having steadfast morals, upright morals that you hold to no matter what, right? And I think integrity is something that every human being, you know, regardless of who you are, if you're, you know, somebody who does music or somebody who just is a blue collar worker, taking care of their family, integrity is what you want, is what you should aspire to. You should aspire to be the kind of person that says, yo, this person has integrity, because it's so rare these days. You know, it's gold, man. It's gold. And, it just felt perfect. It felt perfect for the title. There's a couple of things that stand out about this album that are completely different from any other album I've made. And I could give you a couple of those right off the bat. For one, the entire album is completely self-produced. So I did everything on this album. You know, obviously I write all my own stuff. I've never had any writers or any silly shit like that. But I've never made my own beats, and it's always been something that I've aspired to. I always wanted to do it. It was something that was a challenge, you know, something that definitely scared me a little bit, you know, got me in a position where I was uncomfortable. Like, man, I don't know if I'll ever be able to understand this magic, you know what I mean? This form, this art form, which is essentially magic, you know what I mean? Alchemy, if you will. A deep alchemy. And I finally was able to do it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a student still at this point. I'm learning. I'm going step by step. And truth of the matter is I've done about, at this point, I'm probably at like almost 80, 85 beats, something like that I've created and that I like them. You know what I'm saying? But did I like them all enough to rap to? Or could I rap to all of them at once? No. Were all of them even meant or designed for me to rhyme to? No. There's a bunch of beats I made that I would probably never rap to them. You know, they're for somebody else. I love the way they sound. I love the feeling and the energy behind them, but they're not exactly something that I would want to rap to, right? So what I did is I took 6 of those that absolutely felt like my soul, my heart, jumping out on the pads, and I put those together, and I put those to the side one by one and say, yo, these are gonna be the ones that I spill on, you know what I mean? And when I say I made these beats, I mean I did everything, you know what I mean? I played my own drums, created my own drum patterns, you know, cut my own samples. Like literally no one has anything to do with these beats that I made. So, you know, I'm proud of that, man. That was something, that was a lifelong goal, something that I was so interested in doing. And to be quite honest, now that it's done, it feels better than I imagined it would feel to be able to get this off, right? So that's the first part, you know, that's something brand new. It's something I've never done before, you know. I'm fully contained now. You know, I really don't need for anything at this point. Now, this is no slight to any of the producers that I've worked with in the past or plan on working with in the future, because rest assured there are plenty producers that I will revisit working with again, and producers that I still aspire to work with in the future. So that's not to say that, right? But just to say, to illustrate the difference in this project, another thing that's completely different about this project is that this project represents my sobriety completely, man. The road to my sobriety and then finishing the album in sobriety, in that mind state, in this realization that, I think we finally made it. Like, I think we finally out the woods, kid. Like, I don't see myself ever, and I mean ever, having a sip again, not to celebrate. I definitely don't see myself smoking any bud ever again. The freedom that I feel right now, the complete detachment from these vices is it's powerful, man. And it's a long road. I've tried many times in the past. I've tried to get this off. You know what I'm saying? The longest I've gone ever in my life was 11 months. But that 11 months was away from alcohol. Like, the truth of the matter is that my problem was alcohol. That's what I suffered from, and what I'm still suffering from, because I don't have no problem saying I'm a recovering addict. I believe that that's as honest as a person can be. I used to be an alcoholic. Doesn't really sound as honest as saying, yeah, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I'll be recovering probably for the rest of my life. That seems more legit to me, right? But my problem wasn't heavy drugs or anything like that. Not to say that one is better than the other, or one is less harmful than the other, because having an addictive personality, you're all in the same boat. If I ended up in a rehab, which I have before, I've been to rehab a couple times. You're in that place with people crack might be their thing, or heroin might be their thing, and you here for whether it's marijuana or alcohol. You're sitting in the same room, in the same circles. You find yourself in the same circumstances, and you need the same kind of help. You know what I mean? So, I put myself on par with all those things. I'm just clarifying, but I don't look down on anybody because this is what their problem was, or this is what their problem was. I definitely want to make that clear. But this long road of relapsing, you know what I mean, and starting over again, and going through, we talk about mental health, you know what I'm saying? The toll that this takes on you when you realize, like, yo, damn. Because, we say things like, I can stop whenever. A lot of people say that, like, yo, y'all do this, I do that, but I only do it a little bit, or I only do it this time, or, of course, I can stop whenever I want shit. That's all lies. I don't see that as reality, There's only one way to stop doing something, right? When you stop doing something, you never do it again. And that was something I struggled with. Like I said, I stopped for 11 months at one time, and I felt great. I was off the sauce, and my workout, my work ethic, the clarity of mind, everything boosted through the roof. It's all true, getting a certain chemical balance, what I'm saying, within yourself feels like a superpower, but I wasn't able to quit the bud at that time. So for that whole 11 months that I wasn't drinking, I was still smoking bud. I was still drinking coffee, I don't even drink coffee now. I was able to get away from coffee as well, which is also a drug, a friendly drug that's, marketed as basically harmless, when that's actually not true. You know what I mean? That's a big misconception. I was able to even get away from that, and there was a time in my life where I even dealt with nicotine in the past. Now, I've been able to get away from that for quite some time now. And that's one of the greatest things as well, but that's also a drug that hinders and kills people en masse. You know what I'm saying? So I look at all of these things on par with each other. Some people could say, yeah, well, coffee ain't heroin. And you're right. Coffee isn't heroin. Coffee probably won't have you doing certain things, but you are addicted to it. So when you talk about addiction, you're in the same boat as other people who are addicted to other things. Especially when we're dealing with substances. So, that part. And like I said, I didn't start the album I didn't start making beats in this mind state, and I didn't start writing this solo album to my self-produced beats in this mind state. This is something that happened as a process. It was definitely a long, arduous road. But the more I realized that I wanted better for myself and I wanted more clarity of mind, I started understanding that I was using the drinking undoubtedly and the bud for sure, and certainly the coffee, man, as a crutch for when I'm creating. You know what I mean? When I get into my creative mode, whether it be writing, whether it be hitting the pads and trying to figure out the software on a new program, all of these things were heavily dependent on my usage of substances. And there's no way for me to deny that. You know, I gotta keep it a buck about that. These things, to the point where I'll be so honest to tell you, to the point where there were times when I was in the mood, my soul, my heart was ready to express itself, to write, to record something. And if I didn't have any bud, you know what I'm saying? I would have to go hit the dispensary. You know what I mean? I'm on the West Coast now. I'm in a desert. So it's all dispensaries around here. Been like that for me for about 7 years now. And, you know, the weed store, I would take a trip to the weed store, and that whole, you know, coming from New York, all those years ago, that in itself was like, you know, I enjoyed it. It's like a kid walking into his favorite store. You know what I mean? So the whole process of getting bud and, you know, being able to do it where you want, whenever you want, that was something new for me. And, you know, it heightened my dependence on it. And combined with the music and obviously the stress of life and different things that pop up in your life, you know, I became married to having that bud next to me when I would create my art. And in the back of my head, this bothered me, right? This bothered me thoroughly, because I could recall times, for example, you know, it's no mystery, I spent a lot of time in prison. There were times, you know, when I was locked up that I had to do 4 months in the box, you know, 120 days in solitary confinement, you know, even 30 days sometimes, or fucking 60 days, 90 days, whatever it is. I was in the box quite a bit. But when these things would happen, sometimes I would have some bud, I would make some moves to get some bud, and then, you know, but most of the time when I went to the box, I would just stop smoking. You know what I mean? And I wrote some of my most powerful material during those times, you know, with no substances, no dependability, just blessing in disguise, if you will. And that may sound crazy, but being in that cell by myself with nothing to look forward to except the 3 meals that was coming through, you know, it put me in a certain mind state where I really had to use my brain and really was able to express myself on a level that exemplified a clarity that's necessary for a man and a woman to really get their art off. You know what I'm saying? And to really penetrate through all the bullshit, all the vices, all the things that program us. So I had this example and I had this experience. I understood, yo, this is a real thing. And hearkening back to those moments, I always used, and this is why I say blessing in disguise, because I always used those moments and those memories. I would listen to those rhymes that I wrote and go, damn, yo, I wrote that completely sober, man. And this is like my best material. You know, this is some of the best shit I wrote. And that would bother me. It started to take root time and time again. Like, yo, you can do this, man. You're not exercising all of your strength. Now, we draw strength from different places. I draw strength from my family, from undoubtedly from God, you know, from examples that I had, people that were able to do it, people that were able to stop fucking around, getting high, and were able to create, not only in music, you know, but be able to create better lives for themselves, more focused lives, more nourished and nourishing lives, you know. And I had quite a few of these examples around me, and it becomes hard to ignore them, you know, because you know this is reality. This is the truth. This is the most gangster, hard, illmatic shit you could do is get away from your dependency. And I was able to do it. Now, I'm not popping shit, saying I'm approaching 4 months now, sober. But what I know is different, and what I've never been able to do before is get rid of everything at one time. The alcohol, the bud, no nicotine, no caffeine, which is something that when I stopped the alcohol, I was like, I'm definitely gonna keep this coffee. You know what I'm saying? And when you go to like AA meetings, I've been to quite a few, and like I said, I've been in rehab. As soon as you walk in these rooms and get in these circles, there's always a giant jug of coffee there, because for many people it helps, and it helps in a marvelous ways. It helps a great deal. And like I said, it's no slight to those people. But for me, I wanted zero dependency. I wanted to truly showcase my power. I wanted to prove this not only to myself, but undoubtedly to my family and to God. I wanted God to know that I believe in him so strongly, or believe in her, whatever works for you. And if you're familiar with the Jewel Exchange, I use the word God and I use him and her. I usually round it all off and just say source, right? Because that makes it a lot more universally applicable for everybody. But undoubtedly, this energy, this essence of life, I undoubtedly believe in and converse with regularly, every day. This is something this is the biggest element of strength and motivation in my life is God. Make no mistake about that. And for everything that God gave me, I wanted to give something back. You know what I mean? I wanted to be able to prove that I honor what it is that you've given me, the strength that you've given me. I recognize that I do have it. I recognize that people depend on me. And regardless, I'm not out in the street or, you know what I'm saying? I've taken care of myself since I was 10 years old. I'm a 100% independent, self-made kind of person. I've always worked. If I didn't have a job, I found a way. And that doesn't mean that I sold drugs or was wheeling and dealing. I have always found a way to take care of myself, and many times in extremely honorable ways. I'm a thinker, and I'm somebody that does not give up. I might stumble, I might fall, but I am relentless when it comes to my survival. So understanding that I was given tools, God gave me tools to work with. And, that's a line off the new album. Understanding all this, I didn't want it to be in vain. And I didn't want it to be blasphemous in a sense, knowing that I have the ability, I have this power to create, to change lives, to survive in the most harsh and disparaging environments, lethal environments. I've proven to myself time and time again and to my people that I'm that kind of person. But what I wasn't able to prove is that, I could be even better than that. If I just got rid of these crutches and these things that have hindered me and have held me back. And make no mistake, my alcoholism undoubtedly held me back. It also got me in cuffs time and time again. Got me in trouble in a lot of ways and made me procrastinate certain things. I would attribute that to the bud, and some people will agree with this and won't. And I can. You're right. If you say you agree with it, you're right. If you don't agree with it, you're right. Because there was times, situations and circumstances where the bud would have me procrastinating, and then also times where it motivated me greatly, or at least I felt that from it in the moment. And though that is true, I wanted, like I said, to prove to myself and to God that I did not need any external chemical or stimulant for me to be the best man that I could be. And I also obviously wanted to make this grand example for my daughter. I wanted her to see this is very, very possible and very much within your grasp. You don't ever have to depend on anything or anyone as well. You have all the power within yourself because God placed it there when he made you, and that's big to me. And like I said, I'm only approaching 4 months now, but it's 4 months away from everything, cold turkey. And I feel powerful and I feel strong. I don't want to sound too cocky because I don't feel cocky or overly arrogant in that sense. I do struggle day to day and things do cross my mind, and, I have to fight. I have to use the tools I was given to push through it and make it to that place. And every day, that I don't fuck up is a victory, and I like winning. You know what I'm saying? So this is something that has changed my life in the last 4 months drastically. And this project, circling back, I know that was long-winded, but sobriety is something that deserves as many words as it can get, Circling back, though, this project is a grand example of a sober, focused, and clear mind. This project, obviously deals with God. We touch on self-harm, obviously, which goes hand in hand with addiction and depression. Industry slave wages is a big reoccurring topic on this album. It's an issue I deal with throughout this album because it's something that I feel it's my duty to get this kind of material out to the people, these thoughts, these feelings, these facts that I'm aware of, this understanding of what exactly is happening to people, how people are being manipulated, how this industry changes you as a person and makes you into something that's ugly, has the potential to turn you into something that's ugly, when you're trying to play their game, this game, and identifying, who they is and what the game is. There's a whole lot of that on this album. That is essentially probably the main theme of the album. But it also deals with true independence and true wealth, which undoubtedly is a family, right? Nothing will make you more wealthy or successful than being a valued family man, being a great father, being a great husband, being an overall great human being who has not lost his humanity. Because today it is all too easy and obvious that people have lost, they're out of touch with reality. People are losing their humanity. They're becoming horrible people, man, because everything is about fucking clout and, they'll sacrifice their morals for clicks and views. And that doesn't just affect people in the music industry. This is a wide sweeping effect over the entire world, I want to say. Some nations are dealing with this better than others, but here in the United States, this is a plague. And we touch on that on the album thoroughly, peeking behind the curtains and seeing what exactly is the machine that's causing that and finding your way through it all. This is what the album is about. And the name of the album, Integrity. Just a perfect title, man. And I can't wait to get y'all this album. But, by the time this interview is out, you may already have the album. You may be listening to it right now because this will either be coming out. My birthday's tomorrow. Today's the 9th. You'll either get this interview today, or should I say video, not an interview. You'll either get this today or you'll get it tomorrow. I'm genuinely excited, to see how people react to this. And I'm excited about the process, the route that I took to get the album to people, right? So let's talk about Knife Work a little bit. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody who showed up for the Knife Work album. Rest in peace to my twin, Chino XL. May you rhyme in paradise forever, twin. That song right there is just a special exhibition of lyrical prowess and just razor sharp lyricism. You want Puerto Rican lyricism? This is where your wish ends. Whether you're a Muslim or Christian, I'm spitting intelligent ignorance with my twin spit gems. Listening back to those lines now, that was Heaven's Dungeon, but listening back to those lines now and playing Build, Destroy, Build 2, it really touches a nerve every time. You know what I'm saying? It is something that hits extremely hard in the feels, man. And I'm so honored and privileged to have shared the microphone with this brother, man, after everything that he did to inspire me and make me the MC that I am. You know, the level of sharpness and complexity and intricacy, much of that comes from Chino's pen and the effect that he had on hip hop. Once again, I have to give just monolithic thank yous and appreciation to everybody who showed up for Knife Work because of the way that I chose to get it out there to the people. Now, like I said before, this wasn't the first time that I did this. I did this as far back as like 10 years ago, where I didn't want to put the album on streaming sites because I understood for about a decade now, you know what I'm saying, that these are slave wages, you know what I'm saying? And this is a slave situation. Like, what you're doing, I don't even want to use the word, you know what I'm saying, the R word, but it's ripping you records, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what streaming is. You're getting pennies. And, you know, I addressed this thoroughly on the new album. I understood this for a long time. But sometimes we're backed into societal pressure, the pressure of, damn, nobody's going to hear it. You know, if I don't have exactly the right marketing machine to get the word out there to everybody, then the best way sometimes was for me to upload it to the streaming sites and allow people to just basically have the music. Because what you're doing is you're just giving the music away for free. And in exchange, you get a couple pennies every now and then. I really can't thank everybody enough for showing up in this way, you know, for trusting me, you know what I'm saying, for trusting the process and for, you know, circumventing the convenience of, you know, I'm just going to go download it with my Apple credits that I might have, or I'm just going to, you know, I'm going to stream the album and listen to it and fucking screen record it, you know, because a lot of people do that shit too. They don't even buy the album. If it's streaming anywhere, they could essentially get the album for free. And many people do stuff like this. I also want to thank my supporters, my fans, my friends, my family, everybody for keeping it a buck with the link and not sharing the link, you know, not buying the link and then just giving it away to different people. You know what I'm saying? Like, people really showed out for me, man. And I'm genuinely grateful. Can't thank you enough. It literally means the world to me, man, as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Because we're looking for some sort of reciprocation. And it's not always monetary, because the truth is money is not everything. You know, family is everything. Integrity is everything. Your health is everything. Above all, God is everything, you know? So money is very low down on the list, but of course it helps. And it comes in handy, you know, it helps you do things for more people and take better care of certain people and fight against the machine, you know, just David versus Goliath, you know what I'm saying? It puts the fucking rock in David's sling, you know what I mean? And it could certainly be of assistance in that way. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to thank everybody for showing out for Knife Work. To all the producers, everybody, to all the features, everybody that was a part of the album, thank you. And I hope that you're proud of the project, and I hope that the project means as much to you as it does to me. Now, just to keep it on the new project, Integrity, to say a few more things about it, I'm not trying to, you know, pat myself on the back too much and toot my own horn, so to speak. But I am proud, extremely proud of what I did and what I was able to accomplish with this album. And, you know, I've always had a grand amount of respect for producers. I want to say that has increased tenfold now, because I have the actual experience of knowing what it actually takes to make this happen. You know what I'm saying? And to go through all the processes and emotions and the hours and hours and hours that it takes sometimes just to get one sample the way you want it to sound. You know what I'm saying? The learning curve is tremendous. You know, I've always been somebody who learns very quickly, and I thank God for that. But this was undoubtedly a grand challenge, and it still is, because obviously I'm a fucking newbie. I'm just getting started with this, and there's a, you know, a mountain of challenge ahead of me in this field. But I do want to say, because I am proud of what I did, I do want to say all of these samples I dug for personally. You know what I'm saying? Record shops, different states. You know, I put a lot into this. All of these, you know, I found the samples, I chopped the samples, I sequenced everything myself. I created my own drum patterns. Like I said, you know, if I did sample some drums from here or there, I did it myself. I didn't snatch something off of any of these sites where it's like pre-made and all that. I didn't do any of that. You know, I put this together myself. And, you know, I also played a bunch of stuff on here. Like, you know, I played my own midis. You know, I played my own instruments on the MIDI. I did my own guitars, my own bass, my own piano, you know, I created my own melodies, you know what I'm saying? So that is something I'm proud of because, you know, and shout out to Nahokai, man, who was essentially my sensei through all of this with the beats, you know what I mean? He's somebody who plays live drums and plays the piano, you know, is classically trained in piano. And, you know, we spoke about this thoroughly. Like, yo, I want this to be me, to reflect me, you know, my actual heart and my mind. I want this to be authentic. And I was able to do that. You know what I'm saying? I was able to bring these fucking sounds from my mind to reality. And you know, and then the challenge was rhyming to them, you know, which was something that I didn't anticipate, because once I began getting into the rhythm of composing the beat, it's almost like a different section of my brain had been enacted now, and the rhythm, my rhythm as an MC and a writer, it didn't go away. It wasn't hindered exactly, but it was, I guess, in a state of shock. Like, yo, hold on, like, you know, I'm sending beats to other people and I'm like, yo, can you rhyme to this? I'm not sure if I could rhyme to this beat. And then other people are telling me, yo, son, I could body this. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this shit is ill. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm being extra critical on myself. You know, and I'm trying to bring together two fucking hemispheres, you know, I guess, so to speak, you know, two different hemispheres of the brain together to work in unison. And to be able to finally do that, you know, once the first one locked in, I was like, holy shit, this is a completely different level of creation. Like, this is from the bottom up now. You know what I'm saying? I'm composing. I could think of a sound. I could hear it in my head. I could compose the beat, and then I can write exactly according to that idea, that feeling that I had. You know, it's just a lot different than somebody sending you something that they made with a feeling they might have had a certain idea of what should go on that beat. And then you come and write, you know, somebody, for example, like, you know, on previous albums, somebody sent me a beautiful beat, and in their mind, they're thinking, yo, Gemz is gonna rhyme about, you know, something super insightful and bring the pain out of this. And, you know, though I'm known to do that, and I love to do that many times, it became a fucking violent gore fest, you know what I'm saying, on those beautiful beats. And I understood, you know, like it made everything come full circle. It raised my level of awareness through the roof about creation, about sound, about frequency, about intention, you know what I mean? And it just feels good, man. I'm crazy excited to get you this project. And that's it, man. That's what I really came to say. I know that was long-winded, you know, but that's how it is, man, when you're passionate about things.
Cries and laughter, living my dreams, nightmare with my shadow.
All the pennies off the streams worth the sweat and fever dreams. Was it really in your plan to be a celebrated fiend?